I'm good. Okay, let's get started. Hello, Lisa. How are you doing today? My name is Niger Chambers of Big Go Belt Media. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Hello, Niger. Nice to talk to you.
Man, what an episode. We just got to get right into it. I've
Yeah.
been praising Guy and Tommy since the announcement of them being on the show, since their introductions, episode one, season one. And it broke my heart because while the story from this point on is absolutely just turns upside down, I just enjoyed seeing their performance, their camaraderie. And I also felt like you did them due diligence and gave them such a special moment. I just want to just take a moment to talk to you about your work with Guy and with Tommy throughout this time, and especially with this season,
Yeah.
this
So
episode, excuse me.
I feel the same way. Guy and Tommy. I mean, when I read the script and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm killing off Tommy Flanagan and Paulie. Oh my goodness. And so it was important to me to make sure that their deaths warranted, that they got the proper send off, And so Tommy Flanagan being the OG, right? He needed a big epic death, right? And that's what I promised him when we talked about it. It was like,
Okay.
oh, right. And so, it was storyboarding and shot listing and meeting with the stunt coordinator and making sure the stunt coordinator rehearsed the day before with all of the stuntmen. We brought Paulie in the day before, rehearsing with Paulie where he needs to be and what and how, and when he goes into the pool and all of that rehearsed. So then on the night when I was shooting with Vic and Walter and having their moment, that I didn't get lost in the nuance of all the stunties, right? We had that dialed in. Everyone knew where to be, when, how. And then it was a matter of dancing with the camera operators and with Vic and Walter and their performance so that we could give him the send off he needed, right?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And in all fair with this comment, all under the Lionsgate's umbrella here, you truly, and your resume is impeccable. So I knew that, like, once I like really started to look into the psychology of this scene and understanding these characters that I've cared so much about over this time, I just knew that it was going to be special once the event started to lead up to the big moment. You truly gave them their John Wick Continental moment. That moment of them essentially going to war with Devlin here. Could you talk to me about getting into that particular scene where we got Paulie talking about loyalty and specifically Walter looking back and says, "Are you ready to go to war, son?" And I thought initially he was talking to Vic, but in fact, throughout everything they've been through, when he knew it was time to go to what could be his final moments, he looked at Paulie and said, "Are you ready to go?"
Right. Paulie is as loyal of a soldier as any character on TV. And Paulie really has been a bit of the moral compass for the Flynn family as well. And so when it was time to go, and Paulie, that moment when Vic is like, Paulie, you don't have to do this. Are you sure? And he's like, it's family, Vic, 1,000 times over. You see that true loyalty that he is no matter what to Walter. And so for Paulie's death, I wanted it to be empathetic and sympathetic, that the audience would feel. And when he hits the water, the arms are out, slow motion, psh, blood coming out. And it's the sacrifice. He sacrificed himself for Walter, and he would do it 1,000 times over if he could. Right.
Yeah, yeah, amazing, amazing. And the ripple effect from this, because another character who I've been very pro, and she's had her differences here, is Claudia. And Claudia, who realized more, maybe she didn't realize more times than enough that she was never going to achieve her goal. I think when Brendan let her know that, hey, they're old school, which everybody has been telling her, they're old school. You'll never be the top of this chain. You'll never run the Flynn organization. And we kept seeing a lot of shots of her looking in the glass or the mirror, which I always attest to that as being self-reflection. Can you talk about shooting these scenes and what is it, and sort of give us a little bit of narration of what Claudia is mentally experiencing throughout this episode?
Yeah. So Claudia, has always never been enough for her father, never loved by her father. I mean, when you talk familial longing, it is a theme in this episode. with the various factions and families, there is a longing that we see. But with Claudia, the longing has always been for dad to accept her and to allow her to be who she really is. She is smart. She is formidable. She can run the Flynn Empire. Vic doesn't want it. Vic isn't as strong as her. Vic could never do what she does, right? And she knows that. So I think there's a hope springs eternal moment when she makes a decision to take Vic out, that she will be able to overcome Dublin. Her hubris gets in the way, right? I don't think Dublin will ever accept her. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think her believing she is the only one to run the organization when daddy is gone is her hubris. It will be her Achilles heel.
Beautifully said there. And also just to tap into her working business relationship with Brendan Doyle, which to me, and obviously her pretty much having blood on her hands with Vic tells me that she would stoop to no level in order to achieve this goal, only to find out that this goal is unachievable, which truly descends like shockwaves through my body to think we have 5 episodes left. You have episode 9. Claudia has a long story to go right now, and it feels like it's just truly getting started. I just can't wait. What has been your fun with working with a character such as Claudia now with episode 5 and coming back with episode 9?
Yeah, what's so great about Claudia, and you nailed it, is that Claudia is gay and she has no physical attraction to Brendan, right? Yeah. Brendan, I think, is attracted to Claudia, and if she wasn't gay, I think they might be a couple.
Really?
I do. I think they'd be there is a little physical chemistry between the two, right? Yeah. And so I think that when he decides to tell her, listen, you'll never be queen, Doyle's telling her that because he actually likes her. He actually cares about Claudia, as flawed as she is as a character, right? The sex for Claudia with him is quid pro quo. She did it in episode 2 with him to try to get something. She does it there. She doesn't really want to do it there, but she feels like she owes him because he brought in Big Red and the team. And so she's kind of paying back her debts. But that just shows the level of what she will do to get what she wants.
Yeah, and it's right on par, very consistent, because even in season 1 with Mai, when she wanted to sort of get in the game with Dahlia, while she is gay and there seemed to could potentially have been something there, it was all business. It feels like Claudia never shows her emotion. It's been all business. Do we ever see Claudia truly have emotion?
That would be really, really fun this season, wouldn't it?
It's all boiling up. It is all boiling up.
It is all bubbling up. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Dmac is a character that I felt has been introduced very strongly in terms of his intellect and his mathematical capability, shall we say. Dmac was dropped off at a youth academy. I think this is what everybody's going to be theorizing for the next weeks to come. Is there anything you could say about Dmacc'S journey at this point?
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the lovely thing. If we look at Dmacc'S journey through Tommy's eyes, right? So Tommy's trying to protect Dmac. So Tommy, who is this badass drug dealer who will do whatever it takes to take over the Chicago cartel and be the connect, right? He wants to run all of it. Yeah. Has emotions and feelings to protect his nephew, right? Is that an Achilles heel for Tommy? Is that something, this moment in the kitchen, which I love so much with Kate and JP and Tommy, that, he has done something that Kate thinks the worst, right? Kate thinks the worst, and he threatens her. You see old Tommy come up, old school Tommy from Power. Like, he would take her out if he had to, and it crumbles her and she loses her sobriety. And I love that moment with Kate, right? But it shows that it's vulnerable for him to like Dmac. It's vulnerable for him to care for this boy. So this young nephew of his. So if he can get this young nephew away and safe, and he almost says it when he talks to him on the phone, he almost says, I love you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He can't do that, right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Right.
With you being a mother, obviously, to your fur baby Kiwi, and you have a son as well too. Can you talk about the work in humanizing Kate? This has been another story that I've truly loved this season. Kate has always been the counterpart to Tommy, the mom who doesn't mind taking a little bump, having a little fun, but we truly are starting to see the heart, the trauma, just everything that she's been coping with all these years that we've known this character. She, as many folks have been saying, she's sort of been the Avenger character of power because she's been everywhere. You know, she's the connectability character here. Could you talk about humanizing Kate in this episode?
For sure. I mean, what's wonderful is that Patricia, who plays Kate, is an incredible talent, willing to go anywhere and everywhere. But it was so, you know, Kate's a mom, Kate's a grandma, Patricia is in real life. And so to tap into her own humanness again, out of longing, you know, we talked a lot about Patricia and I about Kate fucked up with Tommy and abandoned JP, like didn't even try with JP, right? And so trying to right wrongs, trying to amend, the longing of human connection is so basic in our humanness, right? And so to talk about with all of our characters, to humanize them, bring that longing into play, like we did it with Isaac and Jannard longing to reconnect with their daddy, who we got to right? And it's a real theme in this episode of, you see that longing of Kate wanting to mother Dmac, and she has all season long. Tommy wishes that he longs for her to treat him that way. That's why at the end I had him knock that ice cream off the counter. That wasn't in the script. It's like this flipping ice cream, right? Boom, right? So Kate's been great to play with. She's so willing to be vulnerable and to tap into that world of being so exposed, right? And she's just been great to work with.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I have so many questions, but I know you have to wrap up today. So many other folks to talk about. And again, this was just a fantastic episode. The bar is set high, but it's okay because you can one up yourself come episode 9. Hopefully we get to talk again soon. But Lisa, it's absolutely been a pleasure to talk to you today about your episode 205 of Power Book for Force, which is going to be releasing this Friday. Crown Vic is one to watch, folks. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely.